Hi, this is Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com. I'm an independent demonstrator, and today I want to demonstrate how to put together this card using the Hello Cupcake stamp set. This is featured in our Celebrations catalog and is available free with a $50 order. In March, you're going to be able to also select and purchase these wonderful framelits that I'm going to be using to put together this this card. It's a framelit that basically will cut out all your little pieces of ice cream. It has a very nice little dome and a pedestal for arranging your cupcakes and cutting out the cupcake base, as well as the little middle part. So I'm going to, and when you open up the card, you have this wonderful inside that's stamped with all the little sprinkles. It says "Sweet Wishes Sprinkled with Love." It has a wonderful piece of ribbon going across, and I have also used this set here, which is the well-written framelits for the Happy Birthday, which is right here. Hope I haven't lost my Happy Birthday, because I'm going to need that. And I've used my Happy Birthday using some of that really delicious Grapefruit Grove foil paper that is also available in the Celebrations catalog with a $50 purchase right here. Grapefruit Grove and Lovely Lipstick foil sheets. So I'm using some of the free products, and that's available with a $50 order. Some of the free products so you can put together this card. I also have some neat little sequins here, and on top of the fact that I put this card together like this, that looks just like it opens, I turned this into an easel card. So I'm going to show you how to make an easel card, and it's this simple. Look at how pretty this card can now stand up on a desk or on a dresser with someone's sentiment for a happy birthday. And I have a couple of birthdays that I am making cards for this month, so that is why I'm going to feature some birthday cards. But isn't that gorgeous? It's very easy to make, and this is also going to be featured in a Fancy Folds card making sheet that I am putting together that will help. If you put in a $50 order, you will get this free, but it basically kind of lays out some fancy folds and that you can refer to. And here is our easel card, where I kind of show you how you're going to put it together with all the measurements. So $50 order with me, you'll not only get something free out of Celebrations, but you'll also get a Fancy Folds card making kit that I will send you free, so that you can refer to it when you're making some of more fancy cards. It features a gatefold, standard A fold, the concertina fold, and the easel card fold. I have some other folds I'm working on, but these are just the basic first four that I'm offering. Now, let's get started. You're going to need the Hello Cupcake stamp set along with the framelits. We're using Highland Heather and Whisper White cardstock with a piece of vellum. You're also going to need a Crumb Cake, Grapefruit Grove, Highland Heather, and I'm using Balmy Blue for the ice cream. Lovely Lipstick for the little heart, and for all your adhesives, dimensionals, mini dimensionals, and snail. And I'm also going to be using these brand new stitched, oh, here's my Happy. Hold on, I have to pull this out right here. Here's my Happy. I don't want to lose that. But I'm using these brand new stitched rectangle framelits. These are fantastic. I've just started playing with them, but they're actually going to help layer. They come into your proportional matting sizes that when you cut them, they can layer your cardstock, but they can also create frames. So this is a really super purchase, and I would recommend it. Okay, so let's go ahead and put these aside, and let's begin putting together our card. Now the first thing we're going to need is you're going to need your cutting board, and you're going to need a full piece of cardstock 8.5 by 11. Now looking at my proportional chart here, which I'm going to put right here for reference, I'm going to take this at the 11, and this is 8.5 by 11. I'm going to take it long ways, and I'm going to cut this at 4 1/4. So we're going to cut this right here at 4 1/4, and I already have it marked right there. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and put my cutting board aside, and I'm going to take out my scoreboard. With my scoreboard, I'm going to lay it down here, and I'm going to score according to my score measurements here on my guide. And I'm going to score at 5.5, which is right here. I'm going to score at 8, 20, 8 1/4, and that's right there. Okay, so this is going to create the front of our easel card, and I already have it scored there. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that aside. So we've created our easel card. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of cardstock, and this is just simply a regular piece of cardstock, and it's cut at it's cut at 1 1/4 by 5.5. So it should fit perfectly on the front of this, and it does. But what we're going to do is we're going to stamp the front of our card. I'm going to put my card cutting guidelines aside, and I'm going to use from my stamp set, I'm going to use this sentiment that says "Celebrate your day." Now, whenever you have a brand new photopolymer stamp, besides using your piercing mat, I take an eraser and I just run it along the top of my stamp, because that will help my ink to adhere much better, since it's a brand new stamp. I have all my pads here, so I'm going to take my Highland Heather. I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to print stamp the design for my cardstock. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to start stamping. And it's just straight stamping all the way across. And if I miss some up here, I'm going to add some up here. Make sure I have some on the sides. And it can overlap a little bit, but you can kind of see the effect I'm trying to go for. Okay. So then I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to open up my little case so I can clean my stamp. And the next thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to take this off, is I'm going to use these little sprinkles. And with these little sprinkles, I am going to use just the stamp off technique. I'm going to fill in all these little spaces, but I'm not going to go full strength. I'm just going to go stamp off in between some of these negative spaces where I don't really have anything else stamped. And it's creating a really nice pattern. There you go. And it's kind of fun to create your own DSP, and it's really paper to ink. It's simple stamping, and there you go. Okay, so now I have created my what would be my base card for my for the front of my card. So I'm going to put this away, and I'm going to go to my layering rectangle stitched framelits, and I'm going to pick the largest one, and I'm going to run that through the Big Shot because this is going to cut this perfectly to this next size, 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Because as you can see, that's 4 inches by 5 1/4. So that just really offers a really nice guide. You just simply pop it out of the box, and there you go. You don't have to worry about some of your sizes. You have automatic layering. Okay, and there is our piece of cardstock, very nicely cut. And this is going to go on top of our card, just like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that aside. Now the next piece that I'm going to use is we're going to grab a piece of vellum, and the size of the vellum that's the size I want. And so this is my 1, 2, 3. It's the 4th one in. So it's the 4th one in of your rectangles. So if you were going to go ahead and just cut this, it would be let's see, 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. If you were just going to cut it and not use your Big Shot and your stitched rectangles. Okay, I'm going to run this through the Big Shot. So, isn't that beautiful? I have my layers here. So this is going to go right there, and now I'm going to stamp my cupcakes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my little ice cream stamp, and I'm going to stamp 3 colors. I'm using Balmy Blue, I'm using Grapefruit Grove, and Highland Heather. Isn't that gorgeous? Really nice, rich color. Okay, I'm also going to grab my crumb cake, and I'm using my stamp for the bottom of my cupcake. I'm just going to turn my piece of paper to the side here, and I'm not going to use this this little tail, so I can just kind of stamp it off right there. Okay, so I'll go ahead and clean that. And the last thing I'm going to stamp is I'm going to stamp the sentiment, and I'm going to use my Highland Heather again. So let me just grab this, because the front of my card is going to say celebrate your day. Okay. I'm going to clean that, and I'm going to take this itty bitty little piece right here, which is this little heart, and I'm going to grab my lovely lipstick, and I'm going to stamp that right here. There you go. And I'm going to clean that off and put that back there. Now, before I go and cut out my pieces, I'm going to take my light crumb cake, and I'm just going to go ahead and color in and there we go. Okay, so now that I have used my stamping blends, I have colored in, I'm now going to cut out. I'm going to use my framelits for my ice cream. I have this little itty bitty frame piece of framelit here for this little heart, and I'm going to use this rather larger rectangle that comes in my set to cut out my celebrate your day, and there is a framelit for the bottom of my cupcake. So I'm going to go over to my Big Shot, and I'm going to go ahead and cut these out. I'll be right back. Okay, so 3 passes with my Big Shot, and I cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces out because I had them all organized on my little sheet. So we're going to put that there. Put my framelits aside, and we're going to go ahead and move this aside and bring in our top sheet that we just stamped, and I believe that's over here. This is going to go in the middle, and we're going to start, we're going to have these layered like this. We're going to have this one, and then this one on the bottom. I'm going to trim this little cupcake right here. There, we're going to trim that a little bit, and that's going to go right here in the middle. So hopefully you can see that. So I'm just going to grab some snail, and because this is vellum, I'm just going to go ahead and put that right there in the middle. Okay. The next one I'm going to layer, and I'm going to use my dimensionals. And I think I have big and small, but I think I want to use my large. I'm going to go ahead and take my purple, and I'm just going to put 3 dimensionals right there. Oops. Now I don't want to put it right on the top, if you'll see that, because well, it doesn't matter for this one, but I'll show you where it does matter, because there is a little hole that we stick that comes out. We're just going to go ahead and put that there, and I'm just going to lay that one right there. And then we're going to lay this one on top of that, and I only need the dimensionals up on the top. So this is where I'm going to switch over to my smaller dimensionals, and I'm going to put those right along the edge here. right there. And if it's a little bit off, then we're just going to trim it. Because what I'm trying to create is I want to stack that there and then have that one, the dimensional, attached to the vellum. And I can go ahead and just maybe take a little bit of tape along the bottom. We're going to take off our mini dimensional backings. These things get all over the house. They are found in the strangest places. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and put that one right there. Okay. And then the next one is going to be our blue one. And I just want to make sure that I pop out that little piece in the center. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to go ahead and stack that one there. So my dimensionals are going to go along the top. And again, I'm using my mini dimensionals. And they fit very nicely along the edge. Right there. Okay, so that should go right about there. And let me go ahead and just put a little bit of snail right along the bottom of our little ice cream scoop. And we're going to lay that one right there. So they're nice and adhered. They adhere to each other. And now I'm going to take this one here, and before I put this one down, I'm just going to kind of trim a little bit of this. I have some little hearts over here that are the hard epoxy droplets. And if you take, there, I think it's kind of the middle size, and you take this and you just lay it on top of this little heart, and it comes out with a really nice, kind of looks very nice and candy-ish, if you can see that. And then I'm going to take a little mini dimensional, because a mini dimensional fits perfectly on the back of this little heart. And we're going to just take that off, and this little heart is going to go right there, looking like it's sticking right into our cupcake. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to turn this over, and I'm going to use some tear tape. Vellum's a little tricky, so I do want this to stay on my card, and I'm putting the tear tape right inside my cupcake. I don't want it to show, even though it is invisible once I pick up the tape. I just don't want it to show there. I'm just going to go ahead and put a couple of strips right there. Pick these up. Again, these are these wonderful little pieces of paper that get all over the house. All right, and I'm going to take my piece. Oops. Oh, thank goodness. And I'm going to center that right there. And I'm going to grab a large dimensional, and I'm going to put this large dimensional right on this corner here and on this corner here, because that's going to rest right there. So let me get another dimensional. Take those off. Now this piece here is going to rest on top of this piece. So all I want to do is just get a little bit of tape, and I'm going to put this one right there. There you go. So now the front of our card is done. So what I want to do is I want to grab some of my whisk of Stella, and I am just going to kind of add a little bit of glimmer to my ice cream. And there, I think you can see how it's kind of got glimmered up a little bit. So it's going to look very nice. This is ready to go on the top of our card. So the next piece we want is we're going to do our inside. And we're going to grab another piece of Whisper White, and this is cut at 5 3 3/4. And I'm going to measure from the top of this piece right here. I'm going to measure 2 inches, and I'm going to make a little bit of a pencil mark right there. Now what this 2 inches is going to be where we're going to put our ribbon across. We're going to put our ribbon across the top of our card so that our card can stand up. Okay, and we're also going to make sure that in here, in the inside of our card, I want to go ahead and I want to measure, I want to pull it down, and I kind of want to measure right about there, because I'm taking into account that this is 5 by 3 3/4. So I just kind of want to mark that, because what I want to do is I want to line that up right there. I want to line it up, and I can go ahead and erase that. That way this will bend nicely right there, okay? So that's 2 inches from the top, and bearing in mind kind of where what the size is of your inside. This one's a little larger. This is 5 1/4 by 4. You can see that's a little bit larger, and this one is 5 3 3/4. But we're just going to go with it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is I have a piece of Grapefruit Grove. It's the foil. What I did is on the back of my Grapefruit Grove, I put one of those adhesive sheets that is in the annual catalog that will basically, when we after we stamp it, or rather we run it through the Big Shot, we're going to be able to adhere it straight away. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to run these through the Big Shot, and I will be right back. I ran these through the Big Shot, and they're just going to peel off nicely, but I don't want to take them off right now. So I'm just going to set these aside, because the next thing I want to do is I want to do some stamping, and I'm going to use this wonderful little Sprinkles stamp again. And I'm going to take the inside of my card, and you can see from my sample that I'm using all the different colors that that are made up of our ice cream. So I'm going to first, before I do that, I want to stamp some sentiments, and I have 2 here that I want to stamp with. I want to stamp this one that says Sweet Wishes, and then I have this other one that says Sprinkled with Love. So we're going to, I'm going to go ahead and open up my Balmy Blue, and that's where my ribbon's going to go. So I'm just going to put my Sprinkled with Love right there. Okay, clean that. And then I'm going to take my, where'd I go? Let's see, what is this one? Sweet Wishes. And I'm going to open there's Sweet Wishes. I'm going to open my Grapefruit Grove, and I have this little piece here that's on my, and I'm going to just do that right there. Okay. And my Happy Birthday is going to go down there, and this is where my ribbon's going. Okay. So now I'm going to take my Grapefruit Grove, and I'm going to do just stamp, stamp off, stamp, stamp off. And now I'm going to get my ribbon. Now I'm using the Grapefruit Grove ribbon simply because I'm using the Grapefruit Grove Happy Birthday. So let's go ahead, and how I do this is I'm going to take a piece of ribbon and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tie it into a knot. When I kind of have it right about there, I kind of pull the back of my ribbon, and I kind of pull it together so I get kind of like this knot. It's not really a bow. Now these are shears that I use for cutting my regular paper. These are my shears for cutting ribbon. I have a special set of shears that I only use for ribbon, and you see I have them marked right there. So that makes sure that when I have that I need to cut something, I can cut it. I can cut it straight away. So then here are my little marks. I'm going to turn this over so you can see what I'm doing here. Here's my little mark. I got this mark here, and you can barely see that mark there because it's been covered by a sprinkle stamp. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to, maybe I'll move it a little bit so it kind of comes under right there. And I'm going to in my card. And remember my little marks? So there are my marks, and that's where my ribbon is going. Right there. Now Stampin' Up! Had these really neat little erasers that whenever you got a little bit of glue, you can always just kind of pick it up a little. Alright, so now that I have that, now I can come over here and I can grab the first thing that I want to put on is my birthday, because it's at the bottom. And I'm going to pull it and very carefully kind of poke out the other little pieces and parts that are not part of the birthday. There we go. And I'm just going to go ahead, and you can do it this a couple of ways. You can kind of put it like this, a little bit like that. I kind of curved it. Okay, and in here is my little birthday dot. So I gotta pick that up. And that's gonna go right there. Okay, so that's happy birthday, or that's the birthday. Let me pull the happy. So that's where our happy's going to go. So there you go. Look, happy birthday. So this is going to go like that. Okay, so now There it is. So we're going to put this right here. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to put our first piece of tear tape that's going to go on the bottom of this. Okay, and I'm not pulling it off yet. There's a couple ways I did it. I think I'm going to try another way. Okay, I'm going to line this up right here, right? I'm going to turn this over, and then I'm just going to basically kind of just draw a line with my pencil, okay? So my tear tape is going to go right there. Center this in the center of my card. All right. Perfect, perfect. And there you go. Wow, check that out. That is so pretty. What do you think of that? Now you can dress this up, and on my first card I put lots of spangles in it, but as you can see, if you stamp, you know, this would be my first effort. You can kind of play around with what you want to do. It's very easy, not very hard. You can dress it up. You could add another piece in here if you want to write something. But there you go. There you go. Here is our card that we made with the Hello Cupcake. And I'm having used our Fancy Folds reference sheet just to kind of give you an idea of how to do that. Makes a real easy card. I also wanted to show you something that I did with, again, using our Fancy Folds. Let me just go ahead and put those here. I also made this card, and I used the same measurements, and instead of a piece of cardstock, I used a piece of window sheet, and then I used the this framelit in the Fancy Folds, which is just a little kind of like a cake cover. I used that, and I put that in the back here with vellum, and then I punched out the different little cakes and decorated those. And then on the inside, again, I punched out that shape using some glitter paper, some glitter paper, and then I did the happy birthday. I embossed that and put a piece of ribbon so that you could put your card like that, or if you wanted to, you could even put it up there like that, and you could have your happy birthday. And I just thought that would be kind of interesting to do on a window sheet. So there's another option of a birthday card that you can do using our Easel card fold and several of the products that are currently in the Occasions catalog, a stamp set from Celebrations, and the new framelits that are coming out of Celebrations, available 1 March. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and share. Please leave me a comment. I love it when you leave a comment. Go to my stampartconnection.com page, and you can subscribe to my newsletter, where I have lots of ideas and information. And if you're looking for a demonstrator, please don't hesitate to sign up and use the Ultimate Bundle. What a great way to get lots of product and 20% off. This is Kat Chancellor, Stamp Art Connection, and stampartconnection.com. Blessings and happy stamping.